Morning, good morning, testing, just making sure everything's all right. Yeah, microphone's working. All right, I'm just going to go straight into TRVL and let's have a look at what's going on. Um, I mean, I kind of had this idea that maybe we were going sideways like this, and I drew that a few days ago, kind of like this. Seems to have played out, but the reality is that even though we have put the point of control in this lower range, and we've kind of reclaimed it as support, so we're holding support here at 5.5. The reality is that I do think possibly that we're kind of flagging a little bit, and we'd have to see a significant sign of strength here. It would have to go up like that, flip the weekly, and we'd have to kind of impulse. We'd have to do that straight away. So I'm not really seeing kind of impulsiveness the way we've seen before. Impulsiveness, it's very different. So it still looks corrective to me. And on that basis, I was just thinking to myself, actually maybe we want to go and test these lows again one more time. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. I know not 100%, but it could make sense. I just wanted to bring up my EW count here and then just go over it one more time just to see. So go to this medium time frame. This is where the impulse began. Got like a 1 there, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's have a look at this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, two, three, 4, 5. I mean, it is possible that that was the end with the last wave 5. Just trying to figure this out. Where does it end? Does it end there or there? Possibly there. And then you're kind of counting ABCs. So I'm just going to roughly do it. ABC, ABC, ABC. C. So I'm just wondering if we do have another this to go. Something like that. Like a final leg down here. I'm wondering if we have something like that to happen. It's still pushing, it's still going up. So, but it doesn't look impulsive to me, it looks corrective. People taking profit, getting backing, repositioning in, and they kind of make a little bit of gains here. And obviously we have a support that's holding here. Yeah, possibly that ended there, the final impulse, and then the idea here is that you've got kind of like some kind of zigzag, actually. Not a flat correction, a zigzag. And not sure where this one ends. This final bit ends, this middle bit. And so it does fit the pattern, doesn't it? What have we got here? So I'm not quite sure how far this, if it goes up to the weekly, that'll be nice. But just to kind of tap the weekly level, clear it of the liquidity, fill this high volume candle, fill that gap there. That would be perfect. And then you're kind of looking for something like this to sweep, a sweep of the lows. And then you're looking for a fib extension from wherever we put this pivot in. And then I was just thinking to myself, possibly possibly the 618, just to take the lows, lose the 5-5 temporarily, come right back up. And we've had that kind of behavior in the past in the bull market. So if we go back to, when was it? It was this pump, wasn't it? This pump here. And briefly what happened was that for a short period of time we lost this level, and it was a failed auction of lows. It was immediately rejected, and we couldn't get back under. So it came to clear, test the lower level, and then it got rejected straight away. So kind of I was thinking to myself, it is possible to have a support level which looks like it's holding, to lose it and reclaim it, and then that's actually the kind of sign of strength that we're potentially looking for continuation. So in this context, if we do kind of lose that level, it might not be a sharp down and up the way I've drawn it. Kind of losing that. You have to get up, then impulse, and then do we come back for a test? I mean, it's possible. It's possible to go up and come back for one more test, or as you come up, you lose it, you come back up, there's the test, and then there's the impulse. Once you see that, you reclaim that level. That would be, so this is good. This shows us that this is support. And naturally, if people are looking to put limit orders, they could. But I don't really see that kind of behavior. I don't see people just blindly putting limit orders on TRVL at the moment. Maybe because it's not liquid enough. And so what I'm seeing is that people just wait for it to bottom out and then they start buying on market. That's the trend of the price action. Okay, so you can see here actually, why is that? See, this is it's got conflicting data. Let me see why that has done that. So if you go a bit lower, it's weird now. Not sure why. Just go to a higher time frame. It gives you slightly different results here, doesn't it? Not quite sure why it does that. If someone knows, let me know. But yeah, we're kind of holding the point of control now. For all intents and purposes, if we remain bullish and we get another pullback here, you could kind of just hold. That would be more bullish. So it'd be more bullish to hold a higher low here and not take out the lows. Okay, that would just tell you that there's a lot of people trying to buy this, and it just can't take out the low, and then we impulse. That in my mind is much more bullish than just taking the low. Taking the low would be correct because it would just be the way the price moves. It likes to kind of do that. Hit the 618, and you need a reclaim, and then maybe we can actually kind of impulse. That's kind of what I'm looking for. And then you have your some kind of ABC type correction here, zigzag, and then you would want to see an impulse, because if you don't see an impulse, then we're still range bound in this kind of corrective range. Then you ideally want to go up and flatten out, but a worse situation, a worse case scenario here would be if you do kind of go down and you can't get that level for whatever reason, and then actually you're probably heading for lower. Okay, and then you're more like something like more like that. Okay, so there are kind of possibilities here of how it could correct. And I think ultimately it's all going to depend on how Bitcoin behaves. And sometimes when Bitcoin does correct, this doesn't pull back as much because people are still kind of ultra bullish looking for higher. And, you know, and it's hard to fill when after you sell at these levels. And so obviously if someone is trying to fill a larger position, if they try to dump a large position, it'll be much harder for them to fill unless there's a bigger, more kind of substantial move to the downside. And so therefore I think it's more likely than not people don't sell, except anyone who's basically longed up here and is slightly underwater. And that's probably what these sells are. And I think a lot of these selling is just people who are a little bit underwater. It hasn't continued and they're thinking, okay, let me just exit and then reevaluate my entry. More likely than not, because otherwise if people wanted to take profit, they would have taken profit at 6.6, 6.7 cents, because that was above and beyond 5.5, which was the natural resistance. And so therefore in that single move, if you kind of just go through your resistance and you're up higher, then you'd be thinking, okay, actually maybe we're going to go back down and test, and so therefore I'll quickly take a little bit of profit just in case we do. I think most people, if they wanted to, would have taken profit by now. And then also obviously coming back up now is an opportunity for people, if they haven't taken profit, to take profit. Here we're trading at 6 cents right now, coming up to this weekly level, and clear it of liquidity and then correct. So possibly I'm thinking we're still correcting. Yeah, it's kind of what I'm thinking right now. About that. About that. Wherever this pivot goes in, and then you've got this trend-based extension, then you'll be looking for kind of something, kind of ABCs all the way down to where the price finds support, probably where Bitcoin finds support as well. Probably that's kind of what I'll be looking at. Here is a good area, kind of here we see these candles. If it does kind of stop here, then you see where these 4-hour candles, you've got a little bit of an SR flip potentially that would line up with a 618 if this is the pivot, or roughly around where the pivot is now. So there's a little bit of a potential SR flip slightly lower. Maybe the price needs to actually come down here, clear, fill the gaps, and then what you really want to see is a failed auction underneath 5.5. We definitely want to see this quickly. We don't want to be lingering down here for too long. The longer, if we come down underneath 5.5 and we start lingering for a longer period of time, then actually you're probably looking to go down more, probably. Yeah, you're probably not looking to go back up. You're probably looking for another wave or another leg down. And you'll have some natural one-to-one target, which would be somewhere about 4.9, and based on this, and then you've got your extended targets, which would actually still be okay. It would be coming into backtest the neckline of some kind of SR flip here. There is some kind of SR flip going on here. I think that's probably your worst case scenario here, and for a lot of people that's still kind of a large amount of drop to swallow. You know, we were to come to an extended correction, because you're down 28%, but a more bullish correction. Obviously the most bullish correction would be to hold a higher low here at the 5.5 from the current price. That's about 6-7%. But obviously if we go down to the 618, if we do put a pivot here, we're down 12%. Again, the volume makes it difficult to trade at the moment, so you'd have, if you've got a bigger position, you know, got to think about how you're going to play this out. But this is kind of what I'm thinking right now. I think if we want to impulse now, it would have to just kind of now, we'd have to now start to impulse. Yeah. So if this is like, I don't see impulsiveness right now. It's not looking impulsive, but it's always possible for someone to come in and market buy, push the price up there with the first kind of impulsive move, a little bit of a FOMO move. Then you've got your, that would be your impulsive move. You've got kind of ABC. Then you'll be looking for a back test of the weekly, and potentially then we are actually impulsing. Okay, but I can't see it right now. You're not seeing kind of impulsiveness right now. A natural flip would be that weekly level if that was to happen. Yeah, so you'd want to, if we suddenly saw a large order come in, say 5 million TRVL, whatever, took the price right up to like 7 cents or something, then we have a corrective move, then you'd want to see that would be your wave one, and then you'd be looking, then actually this was corrective, this was correct, that was your ABC, and then you had your impulse, and then you'd be looking, that's kind of what you're expecting, and then you'd be looking to take the highs for a higher high on the daily time frame. This would be your higher low, and then you'd be looking for ABC correction to come and back test this kind of neckline at the weekly for continuation for the next move, basically. So this is the most, honestly, this is literally the most bullish scenario. But I think, I mean, again, I'm just looking at Bitcoin, and I don't know, I kind of have this kind of gut feeling that maybe the New York session could potentially pull Bitcoin back and pull back the altcoins, at least to start with. When you're looking at these higher time frame candles, this weekly candle is a take profit, but we have cleared the liquidity from the highs. Yeah, so this is kind of the next retrace before the next kind of push down potentially. And so we've had that before, where we go down 2 red weeks to some kind of support levels. Yeah, you see 2 red weeks, and then we had a kind of continuation. The flatter the better. And so if we can somehow hold this week, this 5.5 over the next week, then that would be a miracle for, well, not a miracle, but that would be amazing. All right, so that's kind of my daily TRVL updates at the moment. We'll see what happens with the price. Looking at other things, TRVL, comparing it to other things. Let's have a look against Airbnb. And it's looking quite strong against Airbnb, isn't it? Been quite strong. It'd be nice to start making some inroads into these higher prices back to where the price was back in April 22 or this January 22, kind of there. That would be quite interesting to see. And so let's have a look at this. This is against Pancake Swap. Yeah, Pancake Swap is just generally quite weak at the moment. This is against Fetch. So this is quite interesting. Against Fetch, we've also broken the 236, and we've come back to test it a little bit. Already today, this daily candle is showing a lot of strength. So I do get this kind of sense that Fetch, that TRVL is actually more bullish than Fetch at the moment. And we've kind of broken this trend line. So again, if we do kind of pull back a little bit, maybe against Fetch, it'll be nice to just kind of hold this level, at the very least, that trend line. It's against SLERF. So high, and we've taken out the low. So it's kind of range bound, isn't it, against SLERF? They're kind of going up and down together. We're right back at the low of this value area low. You see that? That was actually a good place to pull back into TRVL. as SLERF was pulling back, TRVL was holding. You see that? So it's kind of, when did that happen? That was yesterday at the very low. See that? That was actually, we look, it's kind of respecting these areas really nicely. This value area low. Get rid of those ABCs because that's just rubbish. Still potentially kind of putting in higher lows, higher highs. If you look at this kind of price action on the 3-day chart, high, 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 low, high, high. Maybe that's a higher low. Maybe the next one is a high, high. It's possible. So we like to see how it behaves at the pullback. It's quite a lot of volume in it. A lot of volume here, pushing it down. Don't know what that means really. So look at this one. This is against crypto others. So we kind of had a little bit of a failed auction above this 236, but the structure is still quite good. High, 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 low. We've come into this neckline, so I do think that it would be nice for this 5.5 cent level to hold, because that would be perfect. That's like a perfect V-shaped recovery, isn't it? V-shape, and then you're back in testing the neckline. If we do test it again, that's fine, and then we kind of want to go up and take that high for continuation. That's kind of what needs to happen next for bullish continuation. What's this one? Booking.com. All right, so kind of, yeah, I mean, TRVL is more bullish than all of this stuff. So that's fun. All right, let me have a look at Bitcoin. And so I kind of, like yesterday I was going over some bearish options with Bitcoin, contemplating pullbacks. What's interesting is that it took the least bearish one. It just had a little kind of swing failure here. And then it kind of went up, and it's now had a little failed auction of those highs there. And so we're kind of back into this range. We're still range bound with Bitcoin. Yeah. It looks like we're range bound. But we've kind of, in the last hour, we've had a really bearish rejection, isn't it? High volume sell. I'll have a look at the order flow now to see what's going on. Kind of a failed auction of the value area high, of these highs, a bit of a liquidity grab. And is the point of control going to hold again? It could, but I am wondering if now we're looking to rotate kind of back down to these lows. That's what I'm thinking in my mind. These longs were just lower longs, so, and this one is kind of invalidated because we're out of time on this harmonic idea. This is just too far, so I'm just going to delete that. But the level is correct. It's just that the harmonic is not. That was from yesterday. So when you do harmonics, it's just an idea. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. If it happens, then it just kind of gives you confidence about what's happening. And you can see there is a little bit of a triangle forming here. Like that. I'm drawing it quite roughly drawn. It's quite a nice triangle, actually, isn't it? It's slightly leaning to the upside. I kind of think that's actually slightly bearish, actually. If it was a flat top triangle, I think it would be more bullish. Like that would be much more bullish in my mind. But because you're kind of slightly leaning like that, and then you're getting steeper higher lows, like, I do feel that this is a little bit more bearish than bullish. Unless, of course, you go up and put a flat top, you make it flat, and you continue the trend. Okay, so right now, for me, it looks a little bit more bearish than bullish, this triangle. And you know, if you do kind of break the downside. Of course, you can always get a fake out right back into triangle, and then it really becomes bullish. But actually, possibly, you have a kind of measured move from the breakdown, wherever it breaks down. Maybe it'll be the point of control. And then it's like this, isn't it? What is it? Kind of like this. Kind of like that. Right down to the lows. Slightly higher than where I kind of imagined. So you're looking for quite a sharp push down to take out all of these lows. And why did I imagine there to be support here? Let me pull my levels, volume levels, single prints. Oh, it was the single prints. So actually, I mean, I do wonder if we just hold that top of that single print there, just fill it and just take the low that, and that would be like something like this. Break down from there and just come down to the bottom of this triangle. That would be a halfway, because the measured move would actually be taking it much further, which would be more realistic. Let me have a look. Something like that. No. 73k, 83. Yeah, so this is actually better here, isn't it? 83k. Come and fill in the bottom single print too. Lose that. Bounce. And down. Something like that. I think once you do lose this bottom trend line, it's going to kind of aggressively, and the point of control. There's quite an important area here, because you've got the bottom of this triangle and you've also got this point of control, this local range. You lose that, and actually you're going to get some people selling into that. Bounce, sell, bounce, sell, kind of all the way down, probably back down to 83 by like the Wednesday, Thursday, probably Wednesday, Thursday. Pretty bearish week, huh? Potentially. The pivot here is Wednesday. So to get down to 85k by Wednesday, and then for one further push down, and you'd kind of want to hit the lower level somewhere 83 by Thursday, like one more day. That will be kind of where it just bottoms out, Wednesday, Thursday. So I do have this in mind, and obviously it's always possible to just kind of find support here and go up. That's always possible. And actually, that's in the context of the Bitcoin bull market. You could argue that's more likely. That being said, I'm just looking at the order flow right now, and while I see across the whole range, I'm seeing bullish divergences. Yeah, across the whole range. just earlier on, there was bearish divergences here when it dropped. You see here, it got higher CVD. CVD poked higher and the price actually was lower here. This happened this morning at 10:35. See that? So that was your kind of first kind of real bearish divergence here. Someone literally just sold into that with limit orders. Higher CVD, lower highs here. And then when you're looking at it, you're looking at the order flow. I'm seeing some big shorts coming here, well, relatively big. Some trapped longs, but mostly shorts coming in. 1.5 million, you see that? 1.5 million right there. And they're kind of progressively coming in. 500,000 or so. This is a long taking profit. We've got some imbalances here, so no limit orders. Like -15 in drop in OI. And here you've got some longs coming in and they're kind of trapped underwater. And then they kind of probably just got liquidated straight away. So they tried to buy the bounce. They got liquidated straight away, or they closed straight away when they saw that it wasn't bouncing. So a little, so very different here. So the CVD is kind of going flat. The lows are getting high. Very slightly, we're getting some buying, very slightly, but not crazily. And while across the whole range, we are still kind of showing bullish divergence across the whole range. You can say massive bullish divergence. The reality is that it is possible that we go down just to kind of shake things out, shake people out a little bit. Let me see. Look, the OI is going up. Got some progressive. Look at that. Someone's just longing. Every 5 minutes, someone's just longing every 5. You probably just got some bots. Just someone has programmed some bots to just long every 5 minutes. Some big whale who's got a position in at 15,000 is longing every 5 minutes. They're just bullish. Here you got some longs closing. See that? Some longs are closing now. Yeah, so slight absorption, very slight, not crazy. Not crazy absorption. So I do kind of feel like potentially people are like thinking lower now. Okay, we've taken the highs. Big short at the top. There's a 2 million short at the top. Big take profit or big long position closed, and now I feel like we could go lower. Obviously the point of control, we'd have to lose the point of control. Yesterday when we took out this point, these lows here, we kind of didn't really backtest the point of control. So it is possible here that we just kind of go through it. So this is kind of where I'm at the moment with this kind of structure. And I wouldn't mind if we kind of fill these single prints all the way down to here. That's kind of what I'm imagining right now, right? So let's see. And of course, if we start seeing crazy absorption and longing and whatever here at the point of control, big volume holding this point of control, defending this point of control, then sure, let's go up. Who cares? No one. I don't really want it to go down. I do want it to go up. But I'm just kind of planning for this. That's all. I'm planning for lower. As a result, this earlier on I deleveraged completely deleveraged. So I've just got my spot positions, which are just open for the duration of the bull market. Not messing around with my spot positions. I'm not kind of fluctuating. I'm not longing, shorting or whatever with my spot positions, because I think we're at the beginning of a crazy bull market run, and I want to time that timed that well. Need to time that on the higher time frame well. But on the short term, weekly basis or intraday basis, I am kind of looking for longing and slightly leveraging on good entries where the price is pulling back. So I am interested in these two areas, but mainly down here at 83, I think, by Thursday, if possible. So that's kind of what my Bitcoin update on Bitcoin. Hopefully that helps. Let me just have a look at what ETH BTC is doing. If BTC is coming up a little bit, Bitcoin dominance should be going down a little bit. Is ETH going down? ETH is kind of following Bitcoin, not as aggressively, but naturally if BTC goes down, the rest of crypto will go down, barring 1 or 2 or 3 tokens. Yeah, so you're always going to find 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 tokens that will start pumping regardless of Bitcoin, because we are in the bull market. Yeah, and no one can really kind of predict which ones will do that. It might be, again, Peanut might go up another 100%, who knows, or it could be Bong or Bonk or Pepe or whatever. No one really knows. But it'll be good if you do get that kind of price action, then it's obviously good to kind of take profit, because it could be just pumping and back down again. So anyway, so I'm not really analyzing Ethereum. I'm just focusing on Bitcoin, because I think wherever Bitcoin comes into support, then that will be a good time to kind of long the altcoins, your favorite altcoins. And it's always good to go for the strongest ones. Yeah, and so that's kind of why I'm looking at the 3 that I'm going to look at this morning. I'm looking at SLERF, SUI, and SOL. All 3 are strong. Yeah, Merced Bar, hello, how are you? Welcome. So again, the context is Bitcoin. I'm not really looking for, like, I'm going to look at SUI right now, and I'm not really going, oh my god, this is a great entry in SUI, because the reality is I want to see Bitcoin hit support, and then I'll look at SUI. That's really more important than just going, okay, I might get a good entry here at $4 or whatever, $3, whatever on SUI. Yeah, so I think SUI is a strong one. And actually, this is the wrong chart. Which is the right chart? This is a chart. This is SUI against Bitcoin. You see that? So I am thinking SUI actually has to go higher up against Bitcoin by the end of the month. But let me go to the correct chart, the USD chart. Where is it? Is it that one? Yeah. My level there got a little bit front runner. So potentially here, you look at the structure of the way the candles are forming. Yeah. You see how it's grinding up, then little pump, final pump. And now we're looking to come back. Potentially here, just kind of right at the bottom of these wicks where you've got this gap. If it lands at the same place as where Bitcoin finds support, that could be good. Otherwise, you know, we don't know how these pullbacks are going to play out. Yeah, I mean, it's in the context of SUI, I think it's really strong, but you know, you do get pullbacks, and I'm kind of aiming for a bit higher. Again, the structure continues, higher highs, higher lows. In this context, the daily time frame, this is your higher low there. So I don't really expect that low to be taken out. That low is actually, technically, no. Technically, your higher low is here. Higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high. Okay. So the rest is higher highs. That's your higher low there. So I don't expect 2.2 to be taken out. So there's quite a large kind of range for the price to pull back, find some kind of support, and then go right back up to make a higher high. Yeah. So that, I think that has to be timed with how Bitcoin pulls back and finds support. These altcoins, you might get the best opportunities, the best entries of these altcoins as Bitcoin is pulling back. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible with these, especially these strong ones, because once Bitcoin kind of really lands on support, then I wouldn't be surprised if it just goes pumps up again, like really fast. You know, I wouldn't be surprised. So it's really kind of, I'm not really looking at this and trying to plan a trade. I am actually looking at Bitcoin, and once I'm comfortable with where Bitcoin is finding support, then what I'll do is I'll kind of start scaling into my altcoins again, lightly leveraging. But I mean, SUI looks really strong, doesn't it? High highs, high lows. Technically, I mean, you could pull, I mean, technically on the weekly time frame, you could pull the way back to here and still be okay. That would be at 2.4. That would be a buyer of the century, you know, on SUI. If you can catch that, you get like if it comes all the way down suddenly to there, you just buy, because it's the neckline, and that's where technically it should hold. But no one can predict that. This is against Bitcoin. Be interested to see how this plays out. I think we should go higher against Bitcoin, but let's see. So let me just have a look at SLERF. So SLERF is SLERF and Sol kind of are hand in hand. Yeah, I think SLERF leads Sol, so this is something to bear in mind. It did this before, and I think it's doing it again. So if you're unsure about what's happening, then just look at SLERF, and then it'll kind of give you the clue. You see SLERF is, I'll kind of bring up Sol now, and we kind of looked at this together before, didn't we? Let me pull up my Sol chart. Gotta find it first. You see here, Solana pumped, took out the highs, and look at where SLERF is doing. Nothing. It's going sideways. See that? So while Solana showed strength, SLERF didn't show strength, and so I think SLERF is leading Sol. You see, SLERF is actually just dropped underneath the value area high, lost the neckline, and I think Solana is actually following SLERF. You see, SLERF here is looking much weaker than Solana. Solana here looks quite strong, but actually SLERF is telling us that actually it's not very strong. It's actually kind of relatively weak. Again, I mean, strategically, what do? Do you trade your tokens? Do you take profit? You should always take profit if you want to just kind of reward yourself, or if you're just holding spot for higher time frame moves, for higher, holding for higher, then you know, just you can kind of deleverage at the highs, and then kind of lightly leverage back into support. That's kind of a good way. And then when you're back at the highs, you're deleveraging, so you're taking profit. Your profit is actually when you're taking profit on your leverage positions, deleverage the highs. When you see the price showing a little bit of weakness or the waves of complete, then you can kind of deleverage. So when it comes to SLERF, I was kind of lightly leveraged, and then when I saw that the wave 5 was complete, I kind of deleveraged. I did think it was possible that we could kind of ABC here, and that's the video that I made yesterday. Yeah, something like this. And it did kind of try to go up, but it didn't. You see, we didn't get the impulse, did we? That was where you got a little bit of reaction, but then you're wanting to go up for the next wave. It didn't happen. Yeah, it didn't happen. And then Solana's going up, and then SLERF is going sideways. That's the clue, isn't it? That tells you that actually this correction is probably a little bit more prolonged. So potentially there's your first corrective move. And now we're in the next corrective move, however this looks like. So this is clearly going to be some kind of zigzag. Maybe with SLERF, we're going to kind of come and test this high volume node, and then kind of put in another whatever. I mean, you want ABCs. Maybe that's your first ABC. Maybe we're going to get like an ABC here, and then another ABC. I don't know. I don't really know, actually. but I just want to see this correction complete. And so as time passes, the easier it will be to see this correction complete. It's crazy because look, we're already at 34 cents. Yesterday or the day before we were at 48. So it's quite volatile SLERF. A lot of people don't have the stomach for the volatility. And that's why you should never buy the pumps. You should always kind of look for the dips. SLERF is extremely strong. Yeah. It pumped way before everything, the market. It started pumping before the market. It kind of led the way, actually. Although I think Doge actually led the way. And so here you see now we're getting big pullbacks. A lot of trap longs are now underwater, and so they're probably just selling their positions. Maybe that big long at 4.41 cents, the 1 million or the 2 million long is probably kind of closing his position, maybe. Or maybe not. Maybe he's just holding and he's just going to buy more. Hopefully he's going to buy more. But in this context, again, what we need is for Bitcoin to find support. It's really important. I can't emphasize that enough. Like if Bitcoin doesn't find support, then we could pull back quite a distance. Yeah, quite a distance. So let's have a look at my Elliott waves, which I was looking at before. Let's have a look at this. The correction. Nope. Right. So yeah. So you see, yesterday on time we got a little bit of reaction, but it wasn't the impulsive move, so that it wasn't enough. Yeah, and the minute you kind of go above the high and you lose the high, then you know that actually correction continues, and actually it's not looking as strong as you need it to look. If we were going to get an impulsive move, that was the moment. And it, timing wise, it did actually react. There was a little reaction there, wasn't there? It's a very slight reaction. It's about 4% reaction, but it wasn't enough. And so that was potentially your first corrective move. Okay, potentially that was your first move, like that. Now we're going down, don't know how far, and potentially we could go like that. We've seen it before, where it does that, where it kind of mimics the first move and the last move. And so clearly we are looking for a zigzag. Again, we're looking for a zigzag, and that's because we've pumped so far up. So let's see. We have to see how this ends. Let me have a look at these higher time frame levels. So we've got some like daily levels here to test. Back test the daily level. Then we've got this weekly level slightly lower down. See that? So we may actually just fall all the way back down to the daily level, to this weekly level. Volumes, that kind of corresponds with this high volume node. Yeah. I'm still looking for another pump. Yeah, don't think just because we're correcting, I'm not looking for it. And like I said, maybe then the next one we might kind of have a lower target. I think if the conditions are right, we could actually still go through 280, but obviously we kind of have to hold this high volume node. Yeah, if we start losing a high volume node, then what is a high volume node? People might be asking, what's a high volume node? Well, when I kind of do a volume pull on the range, you can see actually it's a little bit higher now. I have to update it. You can see here these volume nodes. There's a volume node there. So actually this volume node is moved. It's a little bit higher there. There's one lower down here. You see there's one lower down here. And then you have the point of control, which is the highest volume node. Yeah. So these are the kind of natural areas where the price finds support and resistance based on volume. You see the volume is actually kind of the high volume nodes moved up. Does that change things? Yeah, it could change things a little bit. Okay, so that's kind of corresponding with the daily level. So naturally, I'll be looking for that level to find support as we go down now. And based on this first corrective move, it is possible that we then slowly fall to the weekly level, but then we have to impulse. We have to impulse. We want to see impulsive moves then. Okay, so I'm kind of thinking Wednesday, Thursday, to be honest with you, just based on what I was looking at Bitcoin. And based on this, if we do go down fast today, and then we kind of go sideways and down, then it could make sense. So it could make sense. But we'll have to see. As we get more price action, we'll be able to evaluate this better. And then obviously you can match that up with some kind of fib retracement. There's a golden pocket here from this pivot to the top one, even to the top one. So kind of this is the golden pocket on the high volume nodes on the daily level. Yeah, it is actually also possible to kind of find support here, not go further down, bounce and just hold it. That'll be more bullish again. So if you can hold support levels that are meant to hold, and then on the back test you find a higher low, then that's actually more bullish. Yeah, but obviously if the correction, the way it's kind of playing out, looks like it wants to kind of go there, and then it kind of maybe it will go down and then it will come back up. Yeah, that looks more. So you're looking for ABCs and corrective moves like that at the moment. That's kind of what I'm imagining on this. And then hopefully what you'll be looking for, if we do come all the way down to this weekly level and hold it as support, then what you're looking for is a reclaim, and then off we go. Yeah, and then you just have to get past that value area high, and then if we do come all the way down here, yeah, the 618 will put you back at the high. 1-to-1 might be it. That's a big level, to be honest with you. So, but what I've noticed with SLERF is that it ultra pumps, so it's hard to predict where it's going to find actual resistance. Naturally, the first level of resistance, if we do come down to this weekly level, would be the 618, which will be right back at these local highs for the end of the fifth wave here. Okay, ideally we go higher, and then ideally if we do go higher, we have a really nice flat correction here. That ideally the higher, as high as possible. Like no one can really predict that. In my mind, 80 cents would be amazing, but again, you have to count the waves. When you launch here, Bitcoin has to find support, and then you're going to count 3 impulsive waves and 2 corrective waves to complete a 5-wave move. And that's kind of how I knew that this was over. So if people have been following me, you'll know that I said this is over, right? And we're just looking for a correction now. Yeah, and I said this wasn't the impulse. This move wasn't impulsive. That was corrective. I was hoping that this was just a simple ABC and would go up, but obviously that's not the way it's playing out, because there's no strength here, because Bitcoin isn't showing strength. And so naturally, this is the first leg of our correction. We're looking for the next leg, and then the next leg, the kind of the WX and then the Y. And usually it kind of plays out like this. Now, I don't know, this could kind of end here. I don't know how this is going to, we have to wait for this ABC to complete. Okay, this makes sense. This is really strong support. So if people are looking just for a nice trade, yeah, it's a kind of trade, then something like this would be a nice trade, because you've got the golden pocket, you've got high volume node and a daily level. And ideally in this situation, if you're just looking to trade just a kind of a simple trade, that would be a really nice trade. Yeah, a loss and hit the daily level, reclaim, kind of get back into the golden pocket, and get right back into that neckline potentially. Be a nice trade. Anyway, that's SLERF. Let's have a look at Solana quickly, because I think SLERF is actually showing a lot of strength when Bitcoin is showing strength, and so therefore I think we're gonna start seeing more strength on SLERF, I think SLERF is leading Solana at the moment. So you've heard me say this before. SLERF is probably going to be the leveraged token that follows Solana. Yeah. While other meme coins are just going doing their own meme thing, I actually think there's quite a tight correlation between SLERF and Solana. And SLERF usually, from everything that I've experienced from the beginning of when SLERF launched to now, is that SLERF seems to be leading Solana, and it's kind of like the leverage play of Solana, right? So a lot of people just play, they don't leverage, they use spot, but they might just kind of swap between SLERF and Solana, kind of in between. And so at the moment I see that SLERF is leading, so it's good to have a position in both, and so you can get both of the gains. But I think Solana is obviously an extremely strong token, and I'm definitely looking to kind of pick up more on the pullback. We're getting a little bit of a pullback now. Probably the same as kind of Bitcoin, just coming to kind of clear these lows and then up. You know, that's kind of what I want to see actually. Maybe that's enough. It doesn't really need to go all the way down here. Yeah, I don't even think it needs to go down to here, although that would be kind of a really nice entry after this pump. But I think it might just, if we can get a reaction, a strong reaction at these lows here, then that might be enough. And naturally you just have to see Bitcoin find support. You see here, look, the golden, not the golden pocket, but the point of control. You've got the value area low. Could we clear the lows? That would be nice to kind of take the low here, clear the liquidity, and then head up, right back up to the top. That's kind of what I'm imagining right now. Probably there is some kind of fib ratio here as well. So 50% would bring us to here, which is kind of what I like this area. And obviously the golden pocket will bring us perfectly to the neckline here of this breakout. So they're both good, but you just have to wait for the reaction, see where the volume is coming in. And this is an easy trade, you know, a swing failure of this low is a really easy trade. You see a swing failure. And take it right back to the top. And once you see the reaction, you have an invalidation, and you could just take that right to the top. See a good reaction there. So kind of I'm looking at Solana as well. If you're just trading spot, you just scale in, dollar cost averaging. If you're using leverage, then you just have to wait for the reaction. Risk a certain amount, 1% usually, or half if you're not sure, and have a clearer validation, which is the pivot that's put in after the swing failure pattern at this low. Okay, Solana is one of those tokens that could quite easily hold the point of control as support, so it could easily put in a higher low here. And continue going up. Solana could do that, but you have to wait for it to do that. Don't preempt it. And right now we're finding a little bit of support, but you look at the structure of these candles forming. They're really bearish, aren't they? You're getting some really strong bearish candles, increasing volume. So you wouldn't want to just catch a falling knife here and try and scale in here. You'd want to wait for this to bottom out. You see, we're getting a big corrective move here on Solana and SLERF, and these are right now, these are quite strong tokens. So when you're getting big corrections on these two, then it probably means the rest of the market is actually feeling a little bit weak, and it all kind of correlates to Bitcoin. Yeah, so there's a little bit of weakness. Look, see, Bitcoin is showing a little bit of weakness right back at the point of control. This is a good place for Bitcoin to find support, but you wouldn't just catch a falling knife here. You'd have to wait for it to show that this is support. At the moment it's getting a little bit of a good reaction, but you see the volume is coming down. You'd have to wait for it to show you that this is support. So generally from a touch like that, it's hard to see, you usually want to see a loss and a reclaim. That would be the best way to see support, a loss and a reclaim. All right, so that's kind of all my tokens that I'm interested in this morning. I've gone over TRVL, Bitcoin, SLERF, SUI, and Solana. And like I said, I'm kind of deleveraged completely. I'm just waiting for Bitcoin to come into some kind of higher time frame support. I've got some ideas, yeah, and I'll take it level by level, see where it's, just keep an eye on it, see where it's going to start finding support. Probably down here would be nice by Wednesday or Thursday, somewhere between 83 and 85 by Wednesday or Thursday would be really nice. If it kind of erratically goes down, breaks this lower trend line and then heads down here, that's kind of what I'm imagining right now, and that'll be good. It would give people an opportunity to buy the dip, and then we can take these altcoins to the moon. All right, Alvian Azar, how are you? What is your analysis? I think just forget about ETH for now, just focus on Bitcoin. Yeah, ETH BTC is just generally weak. Yeah, it's generally a weak token. It has been for a long time. And look, last week we had a really bearish red candle. Look, it closed even lower than the previous week. The ETH BTC is really, for me, is the gauge, and I'm still waiting for ETH BTC to hit my absolute low target here. Maybe that could happen this week here. So you really want ETH BTC to hit 0.031. Okay, this is a higher time frame point of control. The minute you hit there, then I think game on for alt season, because we're talking about a big level. This is a multi-year level going all the way back to the beginning of this token. It's a multi-year volume level. Yeah, we haven't hit it since the last bull market, March 21. You see the last time we were at this level, it was the beginning of crazy alt season, or the end of the beginning, yeah, the beginning of a crazy alt season. We're about to hit that level. Let's hit that level, and then let's have another crazy alt season. Maybe this time round, this is the next alt season when ETH BTC hits there, finds support, and then we go all the way up to, and actually I'd want us to go up. Look, I'll show you what I'm thinking here. Again, I like these kind of harmonic shapes and patterns. So I'm kind of thinking like this. Where would it be? Like there. Let's say we land there, then we're kind of looking for something like that. Okay. Now this takes us all the way till February 27. So I'm not sure how this is going to play out, because a lot of people are expecting us or December 26. I don't know how this is going to play out, but this is kind of what I'm imagining right now. And based on these fib times, this is all wrong. Okay, this is all wrong. So I'm wondering if that pivot is wrong too. Let me use a different pivot. Could it be this pivot or this pivot? Let's try this one, because we're about to hit that level. That's wrong too. Let me try this one. They're all wrong. They're all wrong. Let me try a slightly higher time frame. I'm not sure about this, because this doesn't work based on the ratios, the fib ratios. Unless the start point could be wrong, could be there. Let me try a different start point. There you go. So look, January the 1st. See that? This is a monthly time scale, but let me go to the weekly. Oh, I've lost it. Why did I lose it? weekly. Right, actually it's easier to see on the monthly, so let's have a look at the monthly. So from this pivot here, which was put in at the 1st of January 2020 to the pivot high at December 21, right? And if we do a kind of a trend based, this tool, trend based fib time, then the 1.618 will bring us to January 25. That's going to be not this month, not next month, the month after. So really there's a massive pivot here, time pivot based on this structure. So it's looking quite good actually from this pivot. This is all looking good actually, just looking at this right now. I'm using higher time frames. Look, it's the golden pocket too. So we've got really strong confluence here for a crazy alt season, unbelievable alt season. Like this is going to be the alt season of the ages, in my opinion, because you've got the overall range point of control on a time pivot at the golden pocket, ETH BTC, yeah, and potentially this D could go all the way up to, let me do a fib extension based on the same pivot. What did I do? Sorry, let me do it the other way around. So if we come here, 1.618 was there. That's your extension. That would take us to the end of December 26. Yeah. So realistic. This is kind of realistic. I mean, it's possible. This is really possible. And so you want to see a support January, and then you just want to go up and up and up and up there. Kind of that's your target. So we're so close. We're so close to this. Coming for a time pivot on ETH BTC. Here, I'm going to take a screenshot of this and post it on my X account. Kind of like this. And then obviously I've got something here. What I've got my EW. Let me just do that. So that will be the wave 3 taking us to there. So actually no, that's going to be our wave. We'll probably have a wave 3, wave 4. I mean, it doesn't make sense, because it means this bull market's going to go a little bit longer, huh? If we end up there. So I'm not sure, because that would be the end of 26, and actually most people think the bull market's going to end next year, and that would be correct with this this one here, this time pivot here, which is October 25th. So I do wonder if we get a peak here like this. The one is there, so whatever happens, you'd have to flip that into support. So realistically, you want to go higher, back test it for support, and then continue going higher to take out that high there. That's your big resistance all the way to the end of 26. So there's a few things going on here actually, but what's important is that we're coming into big support soon. Okay, really big support. And so with this could also be like this, you know, like it could be like that. That's the other thing. It could be much sooner, and then we could just be It could just come up here and take out those highs. It doesn't look right, does it? I do prefer it up there, but I mean, that would be, doesn't always work like that. And the thing is, if it did get up there, then that would be a really great opportunity to sell if it did do that. But I've got this other big time pivot, 1st of October 25. That would be when he loses value against BTC. If this comes in to a high like that. All right, so I've got that in mind. All right, does that help a little bit? All right. I hope it was helpful. I'm going to kind of log off now, and it's kind of a short stream for today. And then kind of I'll be back tomorrow for another stream. All right, hope you have a good day, and cheerio. See ya.